We want to, as you guys as a board, and as a golf course, maybe have some kind of work that he could do around the club.
Community
Trash,
service.
stuff like that would be on top of
community service, per se?
Yeah.
Well, I will tell you that I did look online at the diversion program, and they will have classes. They will have to have communications with someone, I'm not sure how that is, community service. So my feeling is, since he did it here, maybe he should do something here. And I spoke with Jeff about that, and Jeff feels that he can find something for him to do, should we agree to drop and go into the diversion program.
I can't. I would say this.
Tony, can we do that?
Yes.
I know we don't have the ability to fine.
Yep, and I guess part of it, to the extent there was any damage to any district facilities or money, you can ask them to have them make restitution as part of it also to the district.
Yes, and that was the other thing that I was going to ask John, just to give me a cost of what it was for you to repair the sign, your hours that worked, and to repair the sign, because the family is willing to make restitution for that.
When you talk to the grandfather, is this the first time he's done something like this?
I didn't really feel that was my place to ask. I know that he's never done anything, with the golf carts before. Our kids, yeah, I know, but I didn't really.
Does he have a record of any kind as a juvenile?
No, he does not.
We couldn't find that anyway.
No, in speaking with the grandfather, no.
Yeah, we could.
No.
There was
No.
other guys involved though, right?
There were two other people involved.
those,
They weren't residents.
All right, let me just, from the story that speaking to the sheriff and information I've received, 3 children were involved in this. 2 lived in the community. 1 was not actually at the event. The videographer does not live here. I have a first name and a first name only. So with that being said, it's really just this one individual that,
So the police don't know who was involved?
we don't have the other name.
I'll say this much. I know the grandparents personally. They've been very good Stony Brook residents. The grandfather actually gave time to the community during the the 2014 bond issues. Just reading through, he's in the financial industry. Reading through, he gave advice to the CDD board at that time. They're clearly very embarrassed by it. I personally believe that the grandfather is on top of this kid now. I've had a conversation with him. By all accounts that he gave me, the kid seems to have a lot going for him, as far as he's part of this Duke STEM program that my daughter was involved with too, and so it's pretty high level academic. They just don't let anybody into these programs. So personally, and it's not just because I know the grandparents. It sounds like the kid screwed up royally, did something really stupid, clearly. I know I've been there, and I guess maybe God was looking over me, or somebody was, and maybe cut me some slack here and there. But I'd be willing personally to go with this program. It sounds like he screws up again. He's going to be in a world that hurts.
Yeah, I agree.
Well,
And rightfully so. Then he deserves it,
And Chris, I have to agree with you. That's my feeling, that it's not like this is washed away and never to come back. Should he choose to do something wrong in the future, this comes right back. So, and looking at what the diversion program entails, and having spoken with the grandfather, I do feel that, was this his very first mistake? Probably not. But I do feel that he wants to make it right. And I, for one, would like to make a motion to go with the diversion program, along with having the grandfather and this young man work with Jeff as far as community service within the community.
How long is the program?
He's 18, so he's got 4 years.
Oh, okay, wow.
I'll second.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
You're opposed?
He's
He
favored.
said aye.
Oh, you're aye,
He's a
okay.
little slow.
He's like, I was going to say, Chris, really? Okay, so,
I hate to be his friend.
I know. Yeah, they're a really nice family, but now we're not going to do that.
I would say one thing. We continue to have small issues, not with this young man, but with other juveniles in this community. I will say this as nice as I can. I'm not here to raise your kids. Get your kids under control. The golf course is not a playground for kneeboarding or crazy things that have gone on.
Well, they were paddleboarding in the lake.
Paddleboarding in the lake, kneeboarding down the fairway.
From an alligator.
Look, I get it. I was a kid once too. But, you know, like if I did stuff like that, I didn't do it again. So, you know, like, I don't want a situation to happen where somebody winds up getting hurt badly. And scaring people and ringing their doorbell at night and running away isn't cool either. It's not good. Some people live alone. Some people are older. You don't know. You don't know what you're doing to that person. You're scaring them to death. Cut it out. That's all I would say about that. And, you know, we're at a point where, you know, I have former board members coming to me saying, do you think we need to add security at night on the golf course from the hours of 5 to 9? Now, I don't know exactly how that works. And we talked about it a little bit. You know, like it happens on number 3, time they get over there, they're gone. You know, so we're putting out money for that. But
It starts at home.
Well, let me, 5 to 9, the sun's out. So I think everybody should just kind of be a citizen police and ID these people, take photographs and send them to the HOA.
you know,
Okay.
We live on 3G, and you cannot get a hold of the rover at night. There's no phone number for the rover. So, because the kids were coming down through, and I watched them over there, and then they went towards the green. So I said, I'll call the rover, see if I can call the rover and have them check on it. We got nothing.
Did you see the cart? Are they in a golf cart?
No, they were on foot. One of them carries a baseball bat, and they were picking up golf balls out of the weeds and hitting them into the toolies, and, you know, they were racing out.
Yeah.
One thing you have to remember, we don't pay the road to do the golf cart. These are just our streets, the golf course is their problem. We know what the kids are doing.
Kids.
We talk to the parents, we show them pictures, not my kid.
Yeah.
But the golf course, that's not the rover's responsibility, there's no authority out there.
What about the rest of the neighborhood? So I have a son who roams this area, plays basketball, roller hockey, etc. There's a couple of kids, teenage kids, younger than driving age, driving around on golf carts, throwing firecrackers at kids. So what do we do in that case? We call the
Well, nobody's getting a hold of it at night, typical. The best thing to do, if your kid's got a problem like that, they give us the golf cart number, who's doing it, the information, we can follow up on it.
So are all those golf carts registered with numbers? Is that what you're telling me?
All the golf,
Supposed to be.
we have a company that says your golf cart will be registered. When we did that, there were about 200 golf carts, and it was probably about 500 now. About 2/3 of them have numbers on them. So we've got the numbers, we know who they belong to.
Yeah.
We can follow up, and we've done that with a couple of kids.
Okay.
But right now, we've got a new crop of doorbell ringers and stuff, and these kids are out at 1, 2:30 in the morning.
It's going to lead to bigger things is the point.
Yeah, and I understand what Jeff is saying too. The parents have got to take responsibility for it. We do what we can, but our hands are tied up. First words out of a kid when you address them about it, you have me on film. So we do what we can,
Yeah.
and that's about it. We can't have a 24-hour phone number with somebody responding to everything, but if you get the information and you get it into the office, we do follow up on it. Not just one person's following up. We've got 2 or 3 people following up on it, and we try and curb it the best we can. We know who's doing it, and we've got some we've corrected, some we haven't.
So personal carts are supposed to be registered, and those that are supposed to have
As long
some
as they
sort
have
of...
that white oval with the number on it, we know who it belongs to.
Perfect.
Okay.
And the rovers are stopping the cars that don't have them, give them the paperwork, ask them to come in, and that sort of a lost
Yeah.
cause. We have no authority to stop the car and make it get registered.
So Jeff, I'll go back to you guys then. If they're out there doing stuff on ripping up the T's on 3, you guys want to know about it? Or do you-
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know what, I'll give you my
Who
number.
can we get a hold of then?
I'll give you my number. Well, you have mine and John's. I live in Cape Coral. If I'm gone for the day, you know, I'm 45 minutes away. John lives a little bit closer.
30, 20 minutes away.
Or the gentleman sitting behind you, I'm sure he would be happy to.
For what this is worth, I want to say this too. I noticed
Safety now.
last week, and I don't know if you got any complaints about it, this is two separate incidents. One was today, but last week, two kids were racing their cars around Stratton, like, because they flew by me, and I was like, oh, okay, you know, and then they turn, and I'm like, and you could just hear the engines, like, and they're chasing each other around Stratton. I'm like, what the hell? And I was like, somebody's definitely going to catch this and complain. And then today, I was on 5, filling this washout, and you could just hear them. You could hear them coming. I'm like, I look at Brian, I'm like, you hear this? I was like, wait for it. We're just sitting there waiting for these cars to come, because you know they're coming. Because you could hear the motors coming, and sure enough, shoom, 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 like there's 3 of them. I was like, all right.
You know what the cars are and the license plates. I know they're going too fast.
Well, I was on the middle of like 5.
Yes,
I
I-
could see, you know, I could hear it, I could see them coming. I knew they were coming. I just looked up from the hole I was in. I looked at Brian. I was like, wait, watch this. And then,
Get your phone out, get the video going, zoom in as best you can.
Yeah.
Well, we did just start something this week. The deputies working in here, when they're in here, have pencils and pads at work. There were 5 warnings and 1 citation this weekend.
I saw them stop one guy.
So, and last night, some more people were stopped. So
Good.
we're tired of it.
For speed, you know, or just for speed?
Speeding, you aren't going to catch them because you have to be able to time it. And
They make these little fancy things they call radar guns.
that they still have to give them, for a uniform traffic code, you have to have such a length of time limit that we don't have enough straight street to do it on. But they were getting them for talking on cell phones, blowing
Stop
stop signs. I've had people pass me recently on the street when I've been driving, so we get a number, we'll
got
go.
a radar thing right on my phone. On Brixham Run Loop, I've clocked them at 46 miles an hour.
No, I have too, it's my car watching, but, you know, you have to follow what the law states, and uniform traffic code is a little bit.
Yeah.
Sorry for Mr. Button on the course, what about getting trail cams and putting them up? They even have to where they're solar powered, so you don't have to constantly replace batteries, I know those, and you can set them and things like that.
yeah, I mean, that's definitely a possibility, right? I mean, as far as the vandalism on the golf course, hasn't been an issue per se. Not as, you know, the last major issue we had was a while ago. Back in the ball, was on the wall there, right? That I can recall. I hope it doesn't jinx me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about it.
Well, we did have
Because
that.
it takes seconds, you know what I mean? You can do $100,000 worth of damage in a matter of seconds, you know, if you know what you're doing. And usually when you're out there four-wheeling or whatever.
Well, it's somebody on Sunday with a drone on 12. Those are golfer on 12 there.
Really?
I didn't get all the details yet, but that was the gist of what I heard.
Which is right by the road, so they could have just been walking, right?
Anybody, it could have been anywhere around those.
That was probably Weymouth. That's it. Back then,
Right, wait a minute.
Somebody's got
best
their
point
own.
of view. You know.
I mean,
But those drones are awesome. I've had one, dude, you can be 2 miles down the road.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I mean, we have to be diligent in what we do. The residents need to be diligent in letting us know what's going on. And quite honestly, just right, the parents need to monitor their kids. So with that being said, you know, we'll continue to look at this, and if there's any issues, we'll bring it up. But to get back to the issue that we started with, we'll have Mr. Medley contact you?
well, actually, the state attorney's going to call me tomorrow.
Okay.
Find out what your guys' decision was. I'll let him know.
Yep.
If you guys went with the lesser charge.
Okay.
And, because he told me flat out, whatever you guys decide is the way we're going to go.
Okay.
You know, despite the other two. And I would say on a sidebar too, the sheriff's department really wasn't that happy about that.
No, his feeling was that they're wrong, they're wrong.
I guess he's been dealing with juveniles in this community for a while.
Yeah.
It's not great.
So,
And you hate to say that, and it, yeah, I mean, it's just not.
So we will give this young man a chance. And Jeff, you'll contact Mr. Medley?
Yeah, we'll talk about setting up his, some Saturdays. Gary, can we do some Saturdays? Yeah, some pick up some trash.
Sweet.
And good reach.
Mr. City?
Okay. All right, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Medley. Okay. All right.
Madam Chairwoman?
Yes.
Since we do have a special guest on the conference call with us, your bond counsel, I'd really like to have you all consider doing 6 and 7 and allowing her to go about the rest of her evening.
Yes, that's actually fine.
says-
I'm sorry, Cynthia.
There you go.
We got sidetracked there.
That's okay.
Okay. Interesting stuff, right? Okay, so Chuck?
Yeah, well, as you probably are aware, we did have a successful bond validation hearing. The magic date is July 22nd. That's when the 30-day appeal period will be up, and we'll be able to comfortably consider closing the bonds. So tonight's going to kind of set some things in action for you. We're going to start with what's known as a delegation resolution prepared by your bond counsel, Ms. Cynthia Wilhelm, who is on the conference call with us. I'd ask her to run through the provisions of that with you.
Great, thank you so much, board members. For the record, Cynthia Wilhelm with Neighbors Giblin and Nickerson. We are bond counsel to the district. We have prepared this resolution 2022-07. As mentioned, this is what we call a delegation resolution. And it serves two main purposes. First is to delegate to the chair of the board the authority to enter into a bond purchase contract, so long as the purchase contract is within the parameters that are approved by the board, and those are attached as Schedule I to the resolution, and I'll walk through those in a second. The second purpose of the resolution is to approve the forms of certain of the documents that we need in order to market, price, and sell the bond, including the bond purchase contract itself, the supplemental indentures, the preliminary official statement, and the continuing disclosure agreement. Now, as I mentioned, there are parameters within which the chair can execute the bond purchase contract, and let me just walk you through those. The maximum principal amount is not to exceed $5.75 million for the 2022-1 bonds, which are the tax-exempt bonds, and $9 million for the 2022-2 bonds, which are the taxable bonds. Now, the taxable bonds are the ones that the funds are going to be used for the acquisition of the clubhouse, and the tax-exempt bonds are going to be used for all the other improvements. The maximum coupon rate is the maximum statutory rate, underwriting discount of 2%, a max. Maturity date is the max allowed by law, which is 30 years. And the redemption provisions are as they are provided in the forms of the bonds that are attached to the forms of the supplemental indentures. Now, as I mentioned, there are five documents that are attached to this resolution. I'm not going to walk you through each one. They are voluminous, as you know. So other than that, if anyone has any questions on any of the documents or on the resolution itself, I'm happy to answer them for you at this time.
Cynthia, this is Eileen. God bless you for doing this. I've been reading through this, and it's monumental. So, what I've gone through, I think we're okay. I'm okay with everything as much as I've been able to decipher everything. Any other board members?
I was curious, why two?
So we have to separate the bonds because the improvements that you're doing other than the clubhouse can be tax exempt, so you'll get a lower interest rate. The clubhouse acquisition has to be taxable because the restaurant that takes up the majority of the clubhouse will be privately owned and operated, so the district under IRS regulations, those can't be tax exempt.
Yeah, I actually, now that once I said that, I think we actually maybe discussed that a little bit prior.
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
So 9,000 is the tax exempt.
thank you.
No, the 5 to 7 is tax exempt, the 9 million for the building is taxable,
Why didn't we invert that?
because we have to pay for the building.
Well, I understand, but why didn't the taxable one be at what the cost of the building was and the rest be for everything else?
Because as part of that building is the cost to obtain the building.
And keep in mind, those are setting your max amounts.
These are the
Those are
maximum.
Still a
maximums.
maximum.
Those-
Not final amount.
Those match up with the validated amount.
Okay.
So that's the ceiling, so.
Gotcha.
When will we actually get the final number?
Well, you'll get the final numbers in a few weeks.
Okay.
We're getting closer to that with the next resolution that we'll have you consider, which is the supplemental assessment resolution, which puts us in a comfortable location in terms of what those levels are going to be. And you'll see it reduces numbers down. Consequently, it reduces the per unit assessment down on an annual basis. And what we hope is by the time we get these sold on the market, that we've improved those amounts even more. So,
Yeah, as far as the final numbers for the real estate transaction, Chuck, Eileen and I had an initial conversation about some of the points to go over. I'm going to compile that, create a checklist with some points, send that to the seller and his attorney. And the concept is we would meet remotely or in person on July 13th in advance of the anticipated closing of August 3rd to go through a checklist of what needs to be done and sort of like preliminary prorations, preliminary closing statement, kind of like, just so we have preliminary numbers and an idea.
Okay. Cynthia, I don't think we have any other questions?
Okay, then just a motion to approve the resolution.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I knew that was a delay. Okay, we all agree. Okay.
And then we do have the add-on that came out in the revised agenda package. This is Resolution 2022-08, and this is your supplemental assessment resolution. And you'll notice in the heading how those amounts that we just talked about have come down from the max amounts down a couple of notches.
Okay.
And I don't know if Tony or Cynthia wanted to run through this. I know you guys had some back and forth discussion on it.
Cynthia's got the floor.
Okay.
It's all yours, Cynthia.
For the resolution 2022-08?
Yeah, I'll do
Yes.
it if you want. Yeah. What has happened, again, and Cynthia, you can chime in as far as the pricing, the sizing, anticipated sizing and price of the bonds has resulted in the numbers that are outlined in the supplemental assessment resolution, which takes that initial master assessment resolution was adopted earlier for the purposes of the validation that set the cap. And I think it was a per unit debt service amount of $13,000 and change, and amortized over a period of time was about $1,000 per unit.
The annual amount was just a little over $1,000, and you'll notice in the revised supplemental assessment resolution on page 11 of it, behind the resolution, you'll notice table number 5. The last two columns actually outline where they are with these assumptions, which are closer to what we think they're actually going to get when we final price the bonds. You'll notice the annual debt service payment per unit before the discount and the collection costs at $727.14 per unit, and with the collection costs and the discount $760.04 per unit per year. And again, we expect that these will creep down even further once the final price. So that's where we're at.
In the total amount, debt per unit listed in table Exhibit A is
The total principal.
total principal amount is $10,875, before it was $13,000.
Right.
And so this does this, sets forth the specific terms of the bonds proposed to be issued at $4,395,000 for the Series 2022-1. That's the tax exempt, and the $7,775,000 for the 2022-2, the clubhouse acquisition. And also a confirmation of the maximum assessment lien amounts, and delegates the authority to the district staff in conjunction with the chair to issue final reports and update the resolution as necessary. And it provides for prepayment once the projects are complete. There's a notice that goes out and we have the improvement lien book. And so this is what implements the ability to then, again, finalize the transaction for the issuance of the bonds, leverage the assessments, and so that we can then hopefully go ahead and close in August.
Let's do that.
This is your last step.
Okay.
So it's in order. There'd be a motion to approve Resolution 2022-08, supplemental assessment resolution.
I'll make my resolution.
You got it, Phil.
Thanks. A second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Second, whatever he said.
Yeah. Opposed? Thank you. Okay.
Cynthia, did I miss anything?
Yeah.
She gave
No,
up.
actually, I did want to mention one more thing, though, just as an FYI. We did apply for a rating for the bonds for this deal, and the S&P, who rates generally all CDD bonds, came back with a AA-, which the underwriter that we're working with says that he has never actually seen a CDD receive that high of a rating. So that's
Nice.
a great rating for you guys, and hopefully that will help with the interest rate that we're going to try and get. So,
Thank you.
That was worth the $22,000 we spent on it. So.
Yes, absolutely. That's huge. Okay. So we have the,
Thank you, Cynthia. We'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, we-
all right, great. Thank you so much, everyone.
thank you, Cynthia. Have a good evening. Okay. So we did, okay. Okay. Well, that was encouraging. Okay.
Back to 4.
Back to 4, Juniper Landscaping. You guys all have a, in your
Yeah,
thing
I got
here.
the one we had to when we were working on it.
Okay. John and Elizabeth and I have gone through all this stuff that Juniper has given us. And actually, the other day, John and Cynthia and I went to each cul-de-sac, looked at all the things that around the community. So, and I sent Brian an update, and what, and we just have to get information from the board. What we plan to do or hope to do in the, do you have a picture of the,
Which one are you looking for?
I was looking for the cul-de-sac. Oh, no, this is, okay. Okay. In the cul-de-sacs, what our plan is to put a royal palm, Asiatic jasmine,
Asiatic jasmine,
pink muley,
pink muley, roses, 2 different kinds.
right. Okay,
They're all
so
gonna have the same?
we're gonna, yes, we're gonna have them
Keep it
each,
uniform.
each cul-de-sac will be the same, with the pavers around it. Take the current trees out. At first, we were going to save the trees, put other trees in there, but driving around, they look really sad. So we're going to ask them to price out putting a royal palm and these flowers around the base of each of the cul-de-sacs. The other thing that along the main road, we have all those green electric boxes that look hideous. I know we cannot cover them completely, so what we're asking them is to do is the podocarpus and the muley grass, so that they're kind of hidden, so they're not an eyesore. And coming in the main road, we've already had one medjool that fell down in front of Duffy's. The other 3 out there are kind of wavering. So we're going to put royals there and bottle palms and grass, and still have the 2 ends with the annuals. In front of the guard shack, as you're coming in, what is that called now? The pygmy palm?
Pygmy date ball.
Yeah, we're going to put another bottle palm, so it's consistent. So down the middle, we'll have the royal palms and the bottle palms down the middle. The miniature Poincianas,
Dwarf Poinciana.
Dwarf.
Yeah.
because on the 16th hole, there's those other Poincianas, they're going to put those on that hole somewhere, so we're going to say,
There's some flags there on the, down there you see next to the green.
Yes.
Where we kind of thought we'd like to put them. I'm
Okay.
just kind of leaving them there, and as I drive by, I look at it and just kind of think what it looked.
Yeah.
If it's not there, we were thinking more in that caddy corner of it. You notice where the spillway is? Where
Yeah.
It's like an actual concrete spillway over by that preserve.
right.
But,
I kind
it
of
would
like
almost be
it.
like an orchard there. It almost have to do like a 3-2-1 planting or like a 4-3-2-1 planting, something like that.
Would we have the-
I
so-
think it would look nicer along the green.
I think it'd be nicer along the green to give that whole hole. So we're going to try and save those
Yeah.
and put those there. And still have the annuals. And at the corners, as you're coming in the four-way stop, on each side, taking out those dated palms and put in royal palms on each side and a huge flower bed underneath, which would have the, come on, John, you're on. The muley, the pink muley?
Woolly grass, the Helen Johnson bougainvillea, and the Asiatic jasmine.
And we're not doing any ixoras.
No
We
exorbitant.
took out the
Got
ixoras.
the exorbs.
So when you come in, you'll see that on the two far corners, the one where the sign is that we'd like to sometime get rid of. We're going to do something there to kind of make that look nicer until we can get rid of the sign. And at all the four corners, after Johnson Engineering and Juniper came in, the plan now is to continue to cut the shrubbery back so that the line of sight is good, and for the time being, just have the sod in there. See how that works before we start spending more money on putting flowers in there. And again, we don't want to put shrubs in there that are going to grow high again and then look shoddy after they're trimmed back. So I have asked Brian to give us a dollar amount on the cost of doing all these. But I think that'll make it look clean, get rid of the old, and then work with that.
Yeah, I don't know, well, I don't know who publishes this. Is there a possible way to get this published in like the newsletter or something? Should we want to wait till he gets it? Is he going to bring more renderings or
Yes, he is.
is he?
I could, I'll try to get it in.
I think that'd be nice for everybody to be able to just see it.
See
you know,
what,
kinda
what,
see.
what it is. I will ask him to do it together, a rendering of the corner and the,
Yeah, I think they're going to look really nice.
yeah. So that's our plan right now. Elizabeth, did we miss anything? Okay. The only thing that, I've been at a couple HOA meetings, and they're looking to have the whole walkway redone. I don't know if it's, I know that when we take out some trees or do some stuff, when we do the pump house, there's parts that need to be done. What I've asked the HOA is to give me the length and the width to see just what it would cost to take that up and to redo it. So I have not gotten that yet.
Actually, we're meeting tomorrow, so we'll have the linear footage from you.
Okay, great. And then we can, I'm not going to be here. We'll talk afterwards. So that's kind of the game plan at this point. So we should have some numbers for the next meeting of where this is going to go. But I think this is a good plan. It's clean, it's simple, low maintenance, which is what we're looking for. And I know that the corners where we've taken the plantings back really have helped with the line of sight. And then we can get rid of those mirrors.
John, on that note, right here at Braxton, the Croton's on the very corner.
Gotta go, I know.
Yeah,
I told you that last week.
Yeah, when I turn right, I mean, little kids on their bikes, you can't see them until you actually turn. And then coming out, it's hard to see. You have to actually get all the way out to be able to see, so.
That I
It
think
improved a
is,
little bit between the middle, but
Yeah, we left it there because we weren't sure once you take them out, you can't put it back, really, so it was that, but you're right, I've been through there, I go through there almost every morning, so I was like, I've already made a decision, they gotta go.
yeah.
Just haven't had a time.
We discussed that the other day. Now that it's real wet, wouldn't it be easier to pull them in?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes.
you repurpose them, they're right here on the thing, we can just replant them.
Yeah. So that's where we are with the landscaping, and since I'll be on vacation, I'll ask John and Elizabeth if they can touch base with Juniper. Okay. All righty. Tony, liquor license.
Really nothing further on it. And,
Okay.
you know, again, I think what we'll do when we have the conversation pre-closing, we have to coordinate that with Duffy and see if there's an opportunity to expand their area.
Okay, because I know when Jeff and I spoke with Duffy's, they were kind of on board for that, but it's just a matter of how they can do that. So, you know, we'll work on that. Okay. All right.
We're not a county or a city.
It'll be a lot easier. Okay.
City golf courses and county golf courses are no problem.
Yeah, they walk right through it. right?
Well, if they have a special statute, they talk.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I have two guests here tonight. First is Lisa. Paul, do you want to come to the podium? Once we purchase and have ownership of the building and the property, Lisa works for AJS Realty, which is that the company?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Who is currently the managing agent for the property at this point in time. We are going to keep the company. Jeff and I have a good working relationship with Lisa. And I think it's a big step for us, so we're not really ready to take over everything, and she does a good job. Lisa, just explain what you do and...
Okay. I work at AJS Realty Group. I'm Lisa Paul, and I've been doing property management for many years, way too many, mostly in Naples and some in Fort Myers. We do